Good afternoon, sports fans. This is Topic of Discussion. I'm Caleb McKegg.
And I'm Asia Branson.
We're gonna bring you the biggest sports news of this past week, starting with the last two games for the Dallas Mavericks. There have been some questionable calls. Wednesday night, the Mavs played the Portland Trailblazers, and there was a questionable call at the end of the game with the score tied. And the NBA came out and said that they made the wrong call on O.J. Mayo. And last night, another questionable call against the Warriors. Do you think that the refereeing has just kind of gotten out of control late in games, or what is your opinion on that?
I don't know. They are long games, and they do score a lot of points. But I think if you're going to pay attention for any part of the game, it should probably be the last few minutes, because that's the only important part of basketball anyway. I don't know. Maybe they just maybe the refereeing isn't as good as it can be. Maybe they don't have the right people.
Well, and that's the whole thing with sports. There's going to be human error. There is no replay for fouls and whatnot. But in my opinion, you shouldn't leave the end of the game up to the ref. You should either be up by more than enough points or not be down. Like, you shouldn't let the ref's decision decide the game. And, last night's call to me was a 50-50. I think it could have gone either way. Unfortunately, it went against the Mavs.
That's how most questionable calls are. It could go either way, and that's why the refs, they make their personal decision. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, one team likes it, one team doesn't. It's always going to be that way. And
especially late in the game, I kind of like for the refs to not alter the game. Like, I don't want to see a foul with 0.6 seconds with a team down by one shooting free throws. So, I don't have that big of a problem with it, but let's just hope that we don't see any more of it this year.
Yeah, Mark Cuban might get a little mad about
that. Well, also this week, there's apparently some new steroid list that was found in this business down in Miami, and some very interesting names were found on it, including Alex Rodriguez, Texas Ranger Nelson Cruz, Washington National Gio Gonzalez, and then San Francisco Giant Melky Cabrera, among some other ones. And obviously the two most noticeable names on here are A-Rod and Nelson Cruz. What do you think about this? Is it a big deal, or has it gotten to the point to where steroids, we all know? So
well, I'm not an A-Rod fan, so I would say it doesn't really surprise me that his name's on this list. He has been struggling a little bit, so it does kind of surprise me that if
he's also 37, I feel like.
Yeah, so I don't think he would be taking them. He might. Clearly he might be, but I don't know if they're even working, so it's not a big deal for him. But Nelson Cruz is one of the biggest players for the Rangers right now, especially with all their trading going on. Mm-hmm. And it is a big deal because they said even if they are going to test them at the beginning of spring season, and if they do, even if they don't test positive, they still might get 50-game suspension.
That would be big. Not really for A-Rod because, like we said, he's gotten kind of old. The wear and tear is finally starting to get to him, but he's hurt. So depending on when he comes back, if he does get suspended, it won't start till he comes back. And then we have Nelson Cruz, who obviously, he's kind of getting up there too. He's like 32 or 33, but the Rangers had a terrible offseason. I really don't think they can afford to lose him. Also,
I agree.
Gio Gonzalez, big name for the Nationals. He would be a big loss. And then Melky Cabrera, he already served 50 games. I would be surprised if he got another one because that's probably what he tested positive for.
Yeah, I don't think.
But
the Giants. I don't even know if the Giants will pick him back up.
Yeah, I'd be surprised really if any team did. Unless you just want to take a 1-year gamble on a guy. So,
yeah.
But here's another HGH thing right here with Ray Lewis. Apparently there's this whole thing going on about this deer antler spray. Ray Lewis has gotten accused of it. The Alabama football team has gotten accused of it. And this has kind of been the whole Ray Lewis tarnish during Super Bowl week. Do do you really think that some kind of spray in your mouth can make you like just completely heal from the tricep injury that he is coming off of?
I did think it was a little bit ridiculous when I heard it because,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess there are lots of different things that you can use to do sorts of things like that, and I don't know, maybe there's like a magic healing power. And
Yeah.
If the Alabama football team was using it too, you know, maybe it is a real thing.
I mean, if they were using it, I can sure tell why that they're so good. But I just don't think steroids and stuff like that make that big of a difference. I mean, people say it makes you bigger and stronger and whatnot, but I mean, you can tell from baseball, everyone has used that at some point.
And you still have to be good in order to
Yeah.
be good with steroids.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if he somehow did test positive for this, I don't really think, in my eyes, it would tarnish his career. But, you know, stuff like this is going to come out at the most opportune time to make, like, the most publicity for it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I can see why that it's coming out now.
I think he's already a legend, so one more
Yeah.
little thing to his reputation isn't
Yeah.
going to change it.
And I feel like most of the players he's played against in his career, I'm sure a lot of them use steroids too, because that was before we all knew that there was a huge problem with it in the sports world. But from one great to another, LeBron James is saying that he cannot be compensated for his performance on the court under the NBA collective bargaining agreement. And pretty much what he's saying is that he can't be paid enough for the performance that he puts out on the court every night. What do you think about this?
I think LeBron James thinks he's basically too good for the NBA, almost too good for
Yeah.
their maximum amount. He says that isn't enough for him, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already making millions of dollars from his contract, endorsements, advertising deals, and he's getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball.
Yeah.
He's not getting hit like 20 times a game in football and stuff. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he is the best basketball player in the league, but I just don't think he can complain about making like $14 million a year,
No.
whatever it is.
He's got his title, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so he's at the point where he just wants to be getting as much as he can before
Yeah.
he's going downhill instead of as he still is going uphill a little bit.
Yeah, but I kind of think he has a point, because I mean, you kind of want to cash in for as much as you can during your career, but at the same time, I mean, come on, like I don't think you would ever hear Troy Aikman or Emmitt Smith come out and say, "Hey, man, I'm not getting." He might say, "I'm not getting paid enough," but he's not going to say that the max contract is too low for him. So I kind of think he kind of needs to chime down on that. And I mean, obviously the CBA passed a couple years ago, so the players agreed with it. So
Yeah, and I think I saw another thing that said he thinks he did come to Miami, you know, and took a little bit less money than he thought he should have got because of Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, so they could win their title. But now I guess, you know, since he's got that, he's happy, money happy.
yeah, he thinks he's more of a celebrity than he is a basketball player.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But-
This week in notable events, we have the Dallas Stars playing the Phoenix Coyotes tonight.
Yeah, Stars, they've lost 5 in a row. It's a big game. The Stars started off with 2 wins, and they looked pretty good, but they've kind of slowed down a lot. They've had a few one-loss or one-goal losses, and then in their last game, they got absolutely stroked by the Red Wings. So I would really like to see a win. The Stars kind of need one. They've had 2 days off. I would like to see them come out. They beat the Coyotes in the first game of the season. I think Lettinen needs to have a big game, and so does Eriksson. But Also this weekend, tomorrow night at 7, Tarleton faces off against A&M Commerce here in Stephenville. What do you expect from the team?
Well, the boys and the girls basketball teams played Texas A&M Commerce last weekend in Commerce, and they both annihilated Commerce in both games. So
yeah.
I'm expecting nothing less from them this week at home because they do have home team advantage, and Tarleton basketball at home is, I've heard from a couple of players I've talked to, they're almost unbeatable at home except for, when they have their off games. But they are, I just hope that they don't come in a little too excited, a little too cocky from last game because they did beat them pretty good last week in Commerce, but I don't think Commerce is a threat to them in conference, so it should be one of those games that just kind of gets their
they go up there
going.
And they take care of business. So
I think so.
And also, everyone knows this weekend is the Super Bowl. Who do you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon too. Even though, as a Cowboys fan, 49ers, Cowboys, pretty big rivalry, but
they will. If they do win, they will beat the Cowboys' most Super Bowls ever.
Yes,
so
we all know.
It's a tough decision for you to make.
We all
there.
know. But that's the rundown on all of your latest sports news. This has been Topic of Discussion. I'm Caleb McKegg.
And I'm Asia Branson. We'll see you again next week, Friday at 2:15, right here on Texan News. Tune in Monday through Friday for your fill-in of Texan TV news. Check out TSU Buzz with Keanu Perez, Mondays at 2 p.m. And tune in for Noticiero Texan TV with Ada Delgado, Fridays at 2. This has been a production of the Texan News Service. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.